Hey, what's up everybody, and welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we're reviewing possibly the best Supersport money can buy. This is a 2023 Kawasaki Ninja ZX-6R. And by the end of this video, I'm gonna be telling you whether or not this motorcycle right here is a good buy, or if instead you should be saying goodbye. And before we get to that final verdict, we're gonna go through a couple of things. I'm gonna give you a full specification walk around. I'm gonna get you an exhaust clip, which, by the way, this motorcycle does have an aftermarket exhaust on it. That is a Graves exhaust system. You can find the link for that in the description below if you'd like to get one for yourself. And then I'm gonna take you for a test ride where I'll talk about a couple of features on the motorcycle. And yeah, that's pretty much how these videos go. If you wanna see more videos like this, check that link in the top right. Before we get the show on the road, a couple of things to talk about. First on the agenda, we're almost to 10,000 subscribers. Every single subscription helps me get there. That'd be a huge milestone and more than I ever thought I would be able to get on this channel. Thank you to everyone who's already done it. If you haven't done it yet, I'm gonna give you a reason to right now. You see these gloves on my hands? You see this shirt that I'm wearing? These both came from Revzilla.com. I am giving away a $50 e-gift card to their website on my channel completely free. All you have to do to get entered into this giveaway is like this video, and here's that part I was talking about, subscribe to my channel, and leave a comment at the bottom of this video or one of my last 4 videos that says Spring 2024 Revzilla giveaway. That's it. It's that simple, and you get a chance to win 50 bucks to Revzilla.com. And finally, these videos would not be possible without help from our dealership friend, Big St. Charles Motorsports.
Big St. Charles Motorsports is your premier dealer for everything power sports related here in the Midwest. Located just 20 miles northwest of St. Louis in St. Charles, Missouri, Big St. Charles Motorsports easily has the most inventory and the most brands under one roof. You really will have a hard time finding a bigger selection than what Big St. Charles Motorsports offers. Whether it's the Apex Predator of the top-of-the-line road-going motorcycles, a big touring machine from someone like Indian Motorcycle, or just something in the off-road category from Gas, KTM, Yamaha, Honda, Suzuki, Kawasaki, Can-Am, it doesn't matter. They've got it all under one roof. But it doesn't just stop at the machine. Their parts, apparel, and gear department is stellar. Whether you're looking at something from Shoei, Bell, Alpinestars, the employees that work here are sure to get you steered into the right direction. They'll make sure to get you fitted into something so you can rep your favorite brand. Come down and visit them today. Located at 3830 West Clay Street, St. Charles, Missouri. Find them online at BigStCharlesMotorsports.com or give them a call directly at 636-946-6487. Big St. Charles Motorsports and Omnimoto are not affiliated in any other capacity outside of these test ride reviews. If I say something stupid, please don't blame Big St. Charles.
Starting at the front of the motorcycle, you can observe it's a twin disc setup provided with Nissan calipers. These are 310 millimeter discs, and these Nissan radially mounted calipers are a 4-piston setup. These brakes provide excellent stopping power and great feel at the lever, which is crucial for both spirited rides and daily commutes. Our suspension setup in the front is equally impressive and is provided to us by Showa. These forks are adjustable for compression and rebound damping, as well as preload adjustability. This allows us to set up our machine for any kind of riding scenario and make sure that it's ideal for your rider dimensions. This suspension is going to keep you planted through corners, whether you're at the track or tackling your favorite back road. For street use and racing at the track, our rear brake doesn't play a huge role, but it does add to the braking force that's available from our motorcycle, ensuring for a nice controlled smooth stop. In the rear, this is a 220 millimeter single disc, and the rear shock is just as adjustable as the front for compression, rebound, and preload adjustability, ensuring that you get the right suspension setup for your desired needs. And now for the part that I know a lot of you have tuned in for, we're going to talk about the heart of the beast. The engine found in the ZX-6R is 636 cc's in displacement. This is an inline 4-cylinder that revs out upwards of 16,000 RPM. It makes its peak horsepower of 126 at 13,500 and delivers a peak torque number of about 45 foot-pounds at 11,000 RPM. In short, this engine likes to live its life over 10,000 RPM in the higher end rev range. And for experienced riders, this is a super thrilling engine that they can extract all of the power out of and put it down to the ground. But for rookie or novice level riders, an engine like this can be fairly deadly because you're always living in that upper RPM range to get the power out of it, which can create scenarios where you might be riding outside of your limits. So just be mindful of the power this bike has to offer. Yes, it is just a 600, but that doesn't mean it's not too much bike for you. So before you get all gung-ho because you love the way one of these looks, really think about the kind of rider that you are and make sure that your skill set is up to par with where this bike is. And now on the less exciting end of the motorcycle, we're going to talk about the transmission. This is a 6-speed transmission with an assist and slipper clutch. The assist function of the clutch means that you get a lighter pull on your lever. This is going to reduce fatigue on your left hand during heavy traffic scenarios or whenever you might be really riding this bike and banging through the gears. And the slipper clutch aspect of this motorcycle helps your back wheel from locking up during aggressive downshift scenarios. This means more controlled braking and smoother cornering, which is a huge benefit whether you're on the track or out on the open roadways. Next up, let's talk about the seat height. The seat height of this ZX-6R comes in at 32.7 inches. For reference, I'm 6'1", I'm 185 pounds, and I've got a 33-inch inseam, and this is how I fit on the motorcycle. You can see my feet are planted very easily for a guy my height. Putting my feet up on the pegs, you can already tell I'm in a very aggressive riding stance. Kawasaki designed this motorcycle for a track. Rider comfort is not something that was considered when building this bike. Of course, they want you to be able to ride it, but in order to be the most effective machine to win a race, Kawasaki made it as aggressive as possible. The curb weight of a ZX-6R comes in at 432 pounds, wet and ready to ride. That means fluids, oil, and gas in the bike, ready to hit the road. And it's definitely not the lightest in the 600 Supersport class, but it does strike a very nice balance between stability and agility. Oh, and 432 pounds, I mean, this should come as no surprise to anyone, is not even close to weighing as much as Yo Mama.
He said it! He said it!
All right, everybody, welcome to the test ride portion of the video. Here, we're going to start in the Big St. Charles Motorsports parking lot, or should I say the Big St. Charles Harley-Davidson parking lot. These two are one and the same. You can get to either building through that little orange breezeway right there. We're just going to test the parking lot manners of the ZX-6R, and right off the bat, like I mentioned in the kind of spec walkthrough, rider comfort is not something that is high on the list of priorities for this motorcycle. So, at low speed and in traffic, it's uncomfortable. You know what? It's uncomfortable, bottom line. It's just not a comfortable motorcycle, but that's not why you buy one of these. You buy it because it's a precision machine, and it's fun to ride. Test the brakes. Wow. The feel at the lever, the feel on the throttle, the feel at the clutch is so good on this bike. It's so refined. It's just, it's the epitome of what a true Japanese Supersport is. And don't get me wrong, the CBR 600 is good, it's just dated. The GSX-R 600 suffers from the same issue. The R6 is the closest to this bike that you can get. It's arguably a better machine than this bike, but it's so marginal, it's really hard to kind of say that. You just got to kind of ride both and decide which one's best for you. But as far as low speed goes, having clip-on handlebars is a little bit odd to get used to, especially if you're coming from something that's a little bit more upright or something in the cruiser world. But it is very manageable, and everything that you do on this bike, it reacts, and you know what to do and what not to do. And I mentioned feel at the lever, and what I mean by that is what happens to your brakes whenever you actually squeeze the lever. It translates directly. It's so good. It's so good. You can just pull. They're so strong. Those dual discs up at the front do an excellent job of stopping this machine with perfect force. It is definitely easy to grab too much front brake though, so on a non-ABS model like this one, be extra careful about that. All right, let's do our 2 parking lot test, see if I can get this thing turned in before, not that line, but that line. So here's what we do. Clutch in, we put it in first gear, we get our bars tilted, we hang that back brake, we find that friction zone where the bike starts to bog, we add some throttle, come off that rear brake, and we should move. Here we go. Oh, just not quite. It is so precise though. Oh, got a little off kilter there. Okay, So not quite a 2 parking lot machine. It doesn't have the best turning radius, but it's still very tight, and someone with more riding craft than myself could probably ride it better, lean that bike a little bit more, and really tighten up those circles. But that's not what we're here to do. We're here to get some real-world testing on this motorcycle. So let's get out on the roadways and let's actually ride it. And this is a pre-owned bike with about 2,600 miles on it, so it is fully broken in. I don't have to be super nice to it. You really can just chuck it around like no one's business. So responsive, so fun, and so sexy. This bike looks good. You can't argue that a bike with fairings on it just looks fantastic. But that does get into a topic of, you know, buying a motorcycle solely based on looks, and that you've always wanted one because you think it looks cool. If that's why you're buying any motorcycle, that is such a bad reason to buy any bike. Practicality, rider comfort, stuff like that is a whole nother ball game. One thing I did forget to mention is that this bike does have a quick shifter. It's only an up quick shifter though, so that's something to keep in mind. It's upshift only, no back shift. And what a quick shifter does is basically you don't have to use your clutch whenever you're shifting up. You can watch right here. I'm going to do it. And this bike does sound really goddamn good. Oh, it sounds so good. And that truck kind of sounds like poop. And this would be a decent time to talk about our dash cluster while we're going down this very calm, slow speed road. We have a gear position indicator and a big sweeping tachometer in our face, so we can always monitor those 2 items to know where we're at. Obviously our speedo is right here. Mileage is displayed up high. We have an economical riding indicator, meaning that I'm getting decent fuel mileage right now. We also have power modes on this motorcycle. So what you can do is come over here to your switch gear and change that from F to L for either full power or low power. If you're a rider who's comfortable with hopping on a 600 and you're still a little bit new to it and kind of intimidated, put it in low power mode and adjust your traction control settings accordingly to have a little bit more interference and kind of grow with the motorcycle. And aside from that, we've got just basic readouts like your fuel gauge, engine temperature, which can also be seen here with an actual number. This bike is reading at 187 degrees right now, and as you stop, that may potentially get ramped up into the 200 plus territory, which is perfectly normal. Just make sure that you're keeping an eye on that and that your fan is kicking on somewhere around the 220 mark. Otherwise, things could get a little ugly. This bike really does force you over the nose of the machine with this riding position. Your rider triangle is super aggressive. Your clip-on bars force you down forward, and the high rear-mounted pegs put you up in the saddle of this 32.7-inch seat height. But that just means that you can really hang off of this bike really far, get that best lean angle possible whenever you're out on track day. But you've got a huge range of selectability in terms of where you want your RPMs at, what gear you want to be in. For example, I'm in first gear right now, traveling 30 miles per hour, and I'm only at 6,000 RPM. I've got 10,000 more RPM to go before I need to make a shift into second gear. But of course, if you want your RPMs a little bit lower, want the bike a little bit quieter, shift up at those lower speeds and you'll be just fine. I'll give Kawasaki some credit on the mirrors. These are pretty useful. I got decent visibility behind me. I've still got, you know, my lower forearm kind of blocking that inner half of the mirror, but everything behind me, I don't know if you guys can see that black car back there. I'm trying to, hopefully you guys can see the mirrors and how effective they are. Let's get a nice controlled stop here. Yeah, just tremendous feel at the lever. We'll even come in a little hot here and really yam on it. Wow. Beautiful. This bike is very fun to ride as far as the engine and performance components built around the engine are concerned. Cuts like a knife. And you can ride one of these really hard, but like I said, all the power happens beyond this point on the tachometer. Oh yeah, baby. Oh yeah. She is so feisty after 10,000 RPM. And, you know, of course, everyone begs the question, does this bike wheelie? I'm going to just try to shut the traction control off real quick, and we'll get a quick readout on that. Here we go. Yep. All right, does the ZX-6R wheelie? Yes, it does wheelie. And now might be a good time to talk about how the Ninja 650 compares to this motorcycle. Your Ninja 650 is the more practical choice whenever it comes to usable street power and a motorcycle that makes sense for the everyday guy. And even though the Ninja 650 is a larger engine, you know, most people would think more bigger means more better. That's just not the case. In terms of power, at least. Your 650 does make a little bit better torque because it does only have 2 cylinders divided among 650 cc's, which comes out to 325 cc's of displacement per each cylinder, which means those big pistons banging around in there can generate a lot of torque on their downstroke. Versus the 636, which is divided into 4 cylinders, it has very small pistons, each one amounting to 159 cc's of displacement. And since those little pistons are so small, they don't generate as much torque. Because we can rotate smaller things in a faster manner, we can generate more horsepower, which is why the ZX-6R makes 126 horsepower and the Ninja 650 only makes a meager 67. And I know I mentioned the fairings earlier and how they look cool, but they're practical as well. They really carve through the wind and give you a lot of wind protection. And Kawasaki has strategically beveled this tank right here. You can see how it's kind of concave in so that you can really get your chin down as far as possible and tuck in behind this windscreen for maximum acceleration and minimum drag. All right. Oh, that's nice. Let's test the highway capability of the ZX-6R. So here we are in 4th gear, going a nice 60 miles per hour. Let's drop it down in a second whenever we hit the straight stretch. Make sure we don't have any police officers behind us. We are good to go. All right, 2nd gear, wait. 1st gear, how do you like that? 1st gear, 45. Woo! We were really moving there for a second, doing a decent 20. So as I'm chugging along the interstate here, trying to just gather my thoughts on this machine that I'm riding, it's very capable for the highway in terms of the engine output and being able to hang with traffic and get up to speed, make a pass. Wind protection is pretty decent, but once again, we're just running into the issue of rider comfort, which I can't stress this enough. If you're buying this bike to go out and ride it hard and hit the windy back roads that you've come to know and love, or take it to a track and hone your riding craft, it's a perfect machine. I don't know that you could find a better Supersport. I'm confident in saying this is the best Supersport in the class right now. It does so many things so well, and there are so many people out there who can ride it so much better than me. For example, there is an employee at Big St. Charles Motorsports. His name is Skyler. He is a phenomenal track rider and an absolute machine on anything to do with wheels. And here's a clip of him riding his ZX-6R at the track and absolutely slaying out and riding this bike to its limit. yeah, needless to say, Skylar is a better rider than myself. Great guy too, super likable character. And if you want to see him ride, subscribe to his YouTube channel right here. Skylar, if you're watching this, this is your final warning to upload your goddamn videos of you racing at the track. The people want to see them. But now what we're going to do is a 0 to 60 test. I am not a professional rider. Cannot stress that enough. But I'm going to do my best to pilot this machine from 0 to 60 as efficiently, quickly, and swiftly as possible. So, here we go. Let's get our launch ready. 3, 2, 1. 60. Woo! That oh, that's so electric.
I've never felt power like this before.
That lady moved over for me. That's so sweet of her. She didn't have to do that. And really, you know, maybe I'm out here giving Supersport riders a bad name because all of the high-flying highway shenanigans that they do, but on a bike like this, I just can't help it. I can't help myself. And I'm not sure if you guys could see my speedo right there, but we touched 40 miles per hour. And please keep in mind, this is all filmed in Mexico. Oop, bridge. Yeah, and this bike just carries a line like no one's business, man. Okay, and now we can probably start answering the question of who is this bike for and who is it not for. Let's just burn through this very quickly so we can get to the outro and wrap this video up. So if you're looking for a motorcycle that is just flat out fast and fun, this is an awesome machine. It has some around town practicality because it is street legal, of course, but it really shines in the back roads, on the highway, and at a track day. That's where this machine belongs. It loves to live its life over 10,000 RPM. So if you're an adrenaline junkie just wanting to go fast and get started on two wheels in one of the most fun manners possible, I don't know if I can commend this enough. This is such a well-rounded package. Bang for the buck, especially on the new models with a little bit more tech, an updated dash, updated fairings, fascia, looks, so many things to like about this machine. Like I said, I don't know if I can say many things negative about it, except for what's coming up next. But for all of those reasons, the fun factor, the power, the looks, and the value for what you pay for, this motorcycle is a good buy. Now for the bad. This bike, living above 10,000 RPM, makes it not necessarily the most feasible option for newer riders. It's got a fairly peaky power curve. As smooth as it feels to me to a newer rider, this again can possibly create scenarios where you're riding outside of your limits. And that's not what we want to do. We want to make sure that whenever you get on a bike, it's something that you're capable of riding and that the bike isn't going to take you for a ride. It's really important. And there's no storage on this motorcycle either, so you kind of either have to get a tank bag, which muddies up the looks and inhibits your ability to, you know, tuck, and rider comfort. This bike is so uncomfortable to ride, but the fun that you have when you're in the saddle and you're actually riding it far, far, far outweighs the rider comfort being, you know, low on the list. So poor comfort, not the easiest to ride for novice beginner riders, and as far as like city and, you know, more densely populated areas goes, it's not the best because you're kind of just keeping a beast locked in a cage with this much power. So for all of those reasons, if you're thinking about buying one of these instead, you should probably say goodbye. Okay, that's gonna go ahead and wrap up this video. I'm gonna try to get through this mess of traffic up here. I don't know what's going on, but I'm going to flip it to future me in the outro. See you there.
Hey everybody, welcome to the end of the video. Thank you so much if you've made it this far.
Your viewership is tremendously appreciated. One more time, I just want to hit on a couple of things. We're almost to 10,000 subscribers. If you guys could get me there, it would be tremendously appreciated. And here's a reason for you to subscribe to the channel anyway. If you like the gloves on my hand, if you like the shirt that I'm wearing, you can get your very own, and you can get $50 towards that credit, possibly, if you enter the giveaway. All you have to do to enter the giveaway, like this video, subscribe to my YouTube channel, and leave a comment at the bottom of this video or one of my last 4 videos that says Spring 2024 Revzilla giveaway. It's that simple, and you can't win if you don't play. Once more, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. I'll see you in the next one. Have a great week. Ride safe.